Good news, everyone. There's a Spaceballs sequel in development at Amazon MGM with Josh Gad starring. That's the Olaf guy. Yeah. And Mel Brooks is producing. You know, Mel Brooks, who's like a bajillion years old. That guy who absolutely knows what's going on right now. You bet. That totally isn't a situation where they found a name and decided, hey, you loosely have a grasp on reality. How about we make you the draw for this new ambition we've got? And boy, howdy, is it an ambition. Wait until you find out who's all involved with this stellar idea. Anyway, here we go. A Spaceballs sequel is in development at MGM Studios. Josh Gad is set to star and will produce alongside Mel Brooks. Now, that's an interesting word right there. I want to attract your attention to produce alongside. Those are two words that are very important to this whole thing. Meaning Mel Brooks is, yet again, a name that's strapped to this, having probably next to no creative control. If he does, it's going to be more like, yeah, put a fart joke here, put a boob joke there. That's probably going to be about it. I mean, he is like, I don't know, like 95 now, 90s or something like that. I'm sorry, I didn't look it up before I started the video. You'll have to let me know down in the comments how old Mel Brooks is, but I remember in the movie he was pushing gray, so, it's one of those situations, right, where you have to accept the fact that, Hollywood does what it does, kind of like that time they made Stan Lee sign Black Panther comics in his blood. That happened. You can Google that. But let's get back to this mess, all right? So we'll go on into this, and it says Josh Greenbaum will direct the film from a screenplay by Benji Samit and Dan Hernandez and Gad. So all these three are going to write together, while Kevin Salter will executive produce. The project is in the early stages, and they're keeping a lid on all the plot details, meaning they don't know what they're doing yet, right? Now, I want to attract your attention back to, before we get into who Josh Gad is, right? I want to attract your attention back to Spaceballs' own commentary on this very subject, right? Mel Brooks understood that the parody he was creating was, in fact, at its core, a joke. He wasn't trying to jump the shark, if you will. So when he's at the end of the movie, playing oh gosh, I forgot the character's name now. You'll have to let me know down in the comments about that too. But when he's playing his character there at the end, where they're talking about all the merchandise and the lunch boxes and the little plush dolls, he mentions that it's going to be part of the Spaceballs saga, right? And they're going to do Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. Okay? Now, they would be smart to use this title, to just give in and say, yeah, that's what we're doing here. In fact, it would be pretty great if they went full bore and parodied the Star Wars The Force Awakens movie, okay? So you remember how we had Finn just pop up into screen there in the desert, and he's looking around panicked? Well, you can have Josh Gad stand up playing like Borf's son or something. He's a fat guy, so I doubt he'd be playing one of Star-Lord's kids. I'm just saying it's probably more than likely one of Borf's pups. This could get weird, just so you know. But so you have like Gad's character like stand up and be like, "What's going on?" And it kind of illustrates the franchise coming back to life. I'm sure this is what Jabrams, that's what I call him, Jabrams. I'm sure that's what his idea about having Finn be the trailer introductory to the franchise coming back to life, if you will. So again, you move into parodying Star Wars all over again. Now, having like a Kylo Ren character who is aggressive and sad and doesn't really have a motivation for doing so, very easy to make that into someone who's on Twitter. Now, again, you can explain like the introduction of social media is screwing up the Schwartz, right? It's causing issues with the Schwartz. And so around the galaxy, Schwartz abilities are diminishing while the power of social media is taking over and it's warping people's minds and things like that. So you have your Kylo Ren character who is like the pinnacle of it, right? Now, I'm not saying this is what they're going to do. I'm trying to like give you an idea of what would be smart, in my opinion, to play around with the parody that is the new Star Wars, a parody of a parody at this point, but to parody into that, right? And of course, Smilo, gosh, I got that one mixed up in there. So why not? Let's make like Darth Helmet, the new Darth Helmet, a guy that's got a big old goofy smile on his face, right? So when he pulls the visor down, it's like a yellow smiley face. But when the visor's up, it's like a big giant, 1930s German soldier helmet. I got to be careful with what I say on YouTube, all right? We're already cutting it close. But this again is like you could make a lot of fun out of this, right? You have a strong female character. You could have her be the asexually reproduced daughter of Princess Vespa, and that's how she introduces herself. Like it's on her business card, and like eventually she just starts handing a business card because it takes too long to introduce herself. Like you can have Josh Gad's character be like, look, I stopped at Space Office Max and I got you some business cards. We do not have time for you to go through your first of his name BS, you know? Can't do that. And you get a little bit of Game of Thrones reference in there, but you don't have to go full bore fat guy in a fursuit in the middle of winter for the reference, right? I'm sorry. I just really think that this has potential to be interesting. However, as excited as I've made you about this, I have to bring your attention to who Josh Gad really is. All right. Now you may know him as the voice of Olaf, and if you're like me and you saved yourself the pain, you missed the Beauty and the Beast movie, but he played the weird foppish guy that sings happy songs about Gaston, the fat guy, remember? Well, here we go. He says, Josh Gad shares regret over gay LeFou in Beauty and the Beast. We didn't go far enough. This is what Josh had to say about this, okay? So I want to like remind you that there is a live action Beauty and the Beast now, stars Emma Watson. It's rough, in my opinion. That's why I avoided it. I don't think making Disney princess movies into live action is smart. I really don't. I think they're much more magical when you can have like a cartoon woman with exaggerated eyes and an exaggerated way of moving around, and then birds carry her all over the place. When you do that in real life, it just stops being interesting. I'll like drag your attention just for a second over to that guy driving by too fast, but I'll also drag your attention to the new Lions King trailer, right? Where that's just, it looks like National Geographic footage and then their mouths start moving. There's no magic there. It's just this bizarre, I don't know, like, look what we can do, I guess. It's like flexing with how much CGI they could dump into a project. It just doesn't make sense. The Lion King was successful because it was cartoon creatures singing songs, having conflicts, and having a resolution to that conflict. That's it. It's not because we were all like, oh, it's lions. That makes it great. It's a pretty intriguing and interesting story. That's why it gets repeated so much. But let's go back to Josh Gad and just not going far enough with his gay Disney princess character. He wasn't playing the princess. I said that weird. He wasn't playing the princess. But he goes on and he says, we didn't go far enough to warrant accolades. We didn't go far enough to say, look how brave we are. Remember, brave and stunning? Just what you want out of a Disney princess movie, right? A gay guy that's brave and stunning in the middle of a Disney princess movie, right? My regret is what happened is that it became Disney's first explicitly gay moment, and it was never intended to be that. It was never intended to be a moment that we should laud ourselves for, because frankly, I didn't think we did justice for what a real gay character in a Disney film should be. Do you want to, do you hear the insanity here like I do? Like what a real gay character should be in a Disney movie. Okay? I'll remind you, what separates heterosexuals from homosexuals, from same-sex attracted to opposite attracted? What separates them? It's not being colorblind. It's not the color of their skin. It's not how they eat rutabagas, certainly, and it's not how they poop. So what could it be? What could it be that separates the SSAs from the OSAs? Oh, it could be the S part, the sexually attracted part. What's that doing in a children's movie? Right? What's that doing in a children's movie? If you're going to try and showcase an explicitly gay character, you have to be explicit about that, right? Now, I get it. You can show LeFou being like kissing another guy in a scene, but he said that wouldn't be enough. He wants to do what a real gay character in a Disney film should be, which means he wants like a gay Disney prince story. Not like Prince, the formerly symbol, then Prince again, then dead guy. Not that guy, but like a prince, like, you know, Prince Darien, for instance, from Sailor Moon. Gotcha, right? There's always a weep moment in these videos. Let us know down in the comments if you watched until the weeb moment. Just title it Weeb Moment. Comment Weeb Moment below, huh? You made it this far. But anyway, this is what Josh Gad wants. He wants to play a fat princessy prince guy that gets rescued by like a Fabio looking guy, and nobody questions that. And they just ride off into sunset together because unless you're going to be explicit about it, that's pretty much as far as you can go, is hand holding and kissing. Which again is all the Disney princesses should be doing, really. When you get down to it, there shouldn't be anything more explicit than hand holding and kissing. But the problem is that when you enter in a conversation to children, what is the difference between O.S.A. and S.S.A.? It's a very interesting conversation to be had while the character on screen is being picked up by birds, carried around while they're singing a song about cleaning the house. And you have to tell your kids, yeah, so that character is same-sex attracted. And they go, what's that about? And they go, well, they like girls. Why? Why do they like girls? Meanwhile, the movie is still going on. Do you see the problem, Josh? Do you see the problem when you go highlighting these things to children who don't have a natural understanding of these things? Most kids go, ew, when they see two adults kissing. When they have questions about these things, they're usually a little later in life. But these Disney movies are targeted anywhere from, I argue, from like 2 to 10 years old. That's really the target audience. And that's not a space you should be discussing sex in. I'm sorry, that's the hurdle you have to get over being same-sex attracted, is that on its face, the only thing that separates you from the heteros is how you have sex. And that's a really weird conversation to have with children. In any environment, okay? Let alone a Disney princess movie. But that's what you're dealing with here. Now, I'm going to close this out with this. Take a look at this all-star crew coming in to write this. So you got the duo of Saiyan and Hernandez, who are known for their work as screenwriters for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Mutant Mayhem. That was Seth Rogen's big brain idea that had this crazy art style in it and this jittery animation style. Art style and animation style are a little different. Ed, and Eddie has a very messy art style, and then the animation style adds to that messiness by making the lines jump, right? So in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, among all the other crazy things, that's where Rotund April came from. That's where the, body positivity April came from, if you will. And then we have Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't think there should be a live-action Pokemon movie. I think it's very silly to do so. I think it crosses into the realm of meme territory, and that's pretty much what that movie churned out, was just a series of memes that are pretty much dead now. It's kind of sad. The Addams Family 2, well, if you didn't know that that even existed, you can join me over here. I think that's the one where Uncle Fester gets kidnapped and thinks he's somebody else for a little while. I don't remember. It's like they owed Christopher Lloyd a favor, and they made the movie about him, and everyone was like, who is Uncle Fester? Oh, yeah, he's the light bulb guy. Who cares, you know? And then finally, we'll get the upcoming, very special, very unique LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. And you see why that's why Summit and Hernandez have been brought in on this, is because they're inside Disney. So they can pull out little pieces that they're already given by Disney to incorporate into what they're doing for this LEGO game. And they can incorporate that into the parody. There may be contractual obligations that forbade that, but the human brain is one of those tricky things to explain in court. All right? And that's my theory on all of this, is you're going to get a very gay Spaceballs that is intended to try to be a parody, much in the same way anything Sarah Silverman in it is trying to be a parody but fails to accomplish this. But I'll see you in the next video. And until then, good luck out there.